Okay, I think I am live. You are live. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk about how I decided on Streamlabs OBS for my online streaming. I'm still getting all the kinks worked out of it. Still got some tuning to do. I want to eventually use my Microsoft Surface Pro as a device that'll let me do some overlay whiteboarding with my pen, the smart pen on it, so I can write on the screens instead of using a whiteboard. Because if you've all used a mouse to write on a digital whiteboard before, it's not as effective as we would seem. Well, for me anyways. Although my handwriting in general sucks, but, you know, that's what it is. Right now, what you are seeing is, I'm going to bring this over to the screen so you can see it, and if that's a little confusing, I apologize. Let's not do that. That'll just make it really, really busy. So what I have is Streamlabs OBS right here, version 0.12.3. It's relatively new. I will show you the OBS that I originally streamed with, and I still stream with if I'm doing some gaming, typically Destiny 2 or some World of Warcraft, not so much anymore, while BFA kind of blue for the nerds in you that like those gaming, and maybe some Final Fantasy 14. I'll typically still stick with OBS. I'm not streaming live on that. The OBS is set to go through Twitch, so if I do stream, I'm not trying to sync up with YouTube. My Twitch stream channel will handle all of that. I don't really care too much. I don't want to retain those videos. That's just something I do. For this purpose, what I'm trying to accomplish is I want to start a series through Breaking Forensics on information security, whether it be red team, blue team, and there's a huge difference there. Incident response, which is really hands-on deep dive forensics, analysis, and everything else, or security operations, which is identifying the bad that's in your network or on your computer, and how to detect it, and how to hand that off to IR for whether it be memory analysis, malware analysis, reverse engineering, whatever that might be. I want to start trying to cover those topics. I've been in the security industry for 13 or 14 years now. I'm still working on getting into everything else all sorted out, where I really want to go. I love incident response. I love the forensic part of it. I'm not a management person. I don't mind leading people. I love working together with other people, because I can tell you right now, one of the things I've learned most in this industry, there's always somebody else out there that knows something that I do not know, which means for me, I have a lot to learn, and I'm always going to be learning. So I'm not going to say I know more than you. You may know something I don't know, and I may know something you have, or our perspective or approach on, say, the same malware, the same case, the same investigation, the same alerting event might vary. So the best thing to do, in my opinion, is to talk, to collaborate on that, and figure out where things are. You take that information, what you think, and you can build better IOCs, or searches or rules or whatever you want to call them, to find that bad. So in the future, it's not such a cumbersome ordeal. And in the same time, you educate each other, or you educate your team. Just depends on what you're trying to do. So with that said, I went through the task of trying various different softwares to enable me to be able to do a live stream to YouTube with relative clarity. What I tried to do in the past was stream it and then upload it to YouTube, and the video quality was less than stellar. And then between doing that and trying to get it as close as possible to live, made it very difficult, because there's, even with this current video that is live streaming right now, I'm looking over here at another monitor. You don't get to see that one. We got 3 monitors set up. Only have one set to be visible for everybody. So what I'll probably do, let's just do this. I will take OBS Streamlabs OBS. I'll minimize it a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and drag out the YouTube live video. Hopefully everybody gets to see that. And you can see here, this is the YouTube live stream. A little bit of a delay. So what I was concerned about was that latency, and that how much of a delay there is if people are chatting with me, and how I could make that better. Well, I had at one point, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I thought I had it. It looks like I possibly don't. I wonder if I could just transition to this in the middle of the stream. If this drops me, I will have learned that I can't do this on the fly. But what this does do is, because I want active chat while I'm in one screen instead of multiple, I want to be able to see chats. I did not set up my current untitled video stream to do that. I thought I had put the chat box on here. I guess we could test it. Let me do that. Well, let's move this first. Let's yeah, let me minimize that. I'll come back over here. Let's see, test, and I want to see where that pops up. And okay, that does pop up in the Streamlabs. How does that pop up in the YouTube video? Let's take a look. It is there. So I do have the chat box. Might not have to switch. I'm still figuring this all out. What I want to make sure is when I'm streaming that I don't miss questions and I'm able to respond in a relatively quick manner. We're going to go ahead and put this back over here. And if I'm not talking loud enough, or I'm not talking anything, or I'm talking too fast, please let me know. I am still learning this. My mic is not where it needs to be at this point. I do have the boom. I just haven't had a chance to mount it. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I also want to get my Surface on here. I have a dedicated lab rail, and I want my Surface to work on that. So what I did is I ordered a router. Yes, I love those. I don't like switches per se. I want a really smart, I want a solution on that so I can segment that all off. So I needed a new router just for the specific lab environment, and so I could plug my Surface into it and have the same IP. Makes RDP a lot easier without doing all the other magic and VPN and all that, or railing and virtual, you know, all that fun stuff. So we're going to do that. And if you hear screams in the background, my kids are playing this new game on, I don't know if it's new, but it's called Gang Beast. It's a really funny game. We have fun with it, but they get really loud when they're playing it. They're 6 and they're 4, so to each their own. That's how I'm able to get some quiet time to do the streaming. Otherwise, I have to stay up really late and wait till they go to bed. Anyways, back to this because I digress. Using Streamlabs OBS, there's a lot of customability to it. I will go into that in a few minutes, but I wanted to show that it is streaming to YouTube Live. You can use your dashboards and everything else. And I'll probably, this is just going to be a quick video. I'll do another video where I talk about how you set up the YouTube channels and everything else. What I really did like mostly about Streamlabs OBS is how much it streamlined and automated the whole setup and go live process with YouTube specifically. Whereas before with OBS Labs, or regular first OBS, if you were to use that, you had to manually configure everything. You had to come over here, you had to manually configure your stream options and delays and all of this other stuff that we'll go over on how to set it up in everything. Talk about bit rates and how to manage it. I have fiber to my house and I have really good rates, around 800 by 800, and I was putting in 40,000 bit rate, and apparently it was just too much. Where if I just let, and that was OBS, and you had to manually configure that. Where here in Streamlabs, they built it in. So they do all that calculation and stuff for you. Not to mention, one of the really cool, and you can see right here, is I'm streaming, and they're telling I'm around, just around 3,000. Between 2,800 and 3,000 KBS on average is what I've been doing in most of my stream practice runs. So it's pretty decent. And that was much, much lower than I expected, and that gives me somewhere between 720 and 1080p resolution, which is perfectly fine. That being said, can it be improved? Probably. I just need to start playing with this more. And in reality, I'm not doing a lot of intensive things. I want to make sure that my screen is clear because I'm going to be doing command line things. I'm going to be opening up Notepad+. I'm going to be opening up scripts as I go to either show what I've learned, or if I just stream for an hour or two on end as I'm trying to learn a subject, trying to better myself and educate myself, which is one of the reasons why I put this video set together. Anyways, I will do a separate video on how to set up YouTube for streaming. This is more of me talking about what software I decided on, what softwares I tried, because there's been a couple tweets. I asked some people on Twitter what they had used, and David Cohen with HECF blog was nice enough to respond and put me in the direction of what he was using. So I tried, and he recommended at one point XSplit, which I'll show you in a minute, and then a few others. And I got to reading around things. I did some Googling, and I ended up ultimately going to the gamers community to find out what they were using, just because I really got tired of latency and bad video quality. Now, latency is not going to go away because that's just how YouTube is. It can vary from anywhere from 5 seconds to about 10 seconds on my end. It's better than what it was when I was doing OBS, which was about 30 seconds, and through XSplit was averaging around 15 to 20 seconds. So it's really depending upon what you want to go with. And I'm going to go in order. I have a few things in my requirements. I need to be able to stream to YouTube Live. I did not want to go to Twitch, which is a gaming platform. I wanted to go to YouTube Live. Makes it for easier archive, faster lookups, just all around more easy use, general purpose for myself. Okay. Second, I needed it to be able to handle video with lower latency. I needed to be able to quickly share screens. I need to be able to have a good mic and be able to use my webcam for some of the videos. I need to be able to switch between the cam being off and just going straight to the desktop, because a lot of times, let's just face facts. Who wants to look at this ugly mug? And sometimes I'm not going to feel like being on camera because it can be distracting, especially if we're looking at code. We're trying to deobfuscate PowerShell and figure out how to make it neater and everything. You know, it's just how it is. So I wanted that ability. I wanted the ability, if I wanted to expand to multiple screens or hop between screens real quick, go full screen, all that stuff, it was really easy to do. So as you can see here, I can do that real quick. This is going to, sorry, you're going to get a close up on my face real quick. If I just want to get away from you being able to see the desktop and just go to talking to me while I'm messing around with something in the background, or if I'm trying to put in personal information or a password or something, I can switch over relatively quick. Just like that with the click of a button. I can add more in. OBS is on the Streamlabs lets me do that on the fly with no issues whatsoever. And that's a great thing, especially for me. Or if my kids come running in and they have a problem, which happens quite a bit. I'm sure my streams will be interrupted a few times. I was gaming one night, and had I been, streaming, people would have seen it. My daughter, she's, they got those little rolling metal scooters. She came in, she's daddy, 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 and they were roughhousing. And the next thing you know, I got hit over the head, and it was bleeding. And I saw the doctor next day. He said I probably got stitches, but I didn't. But that's life of dad. So things do happen, and I needed the ability to go in and set that up so I could pause it, or I could put up a splash screen, which I'm going to do here eventually. I believe I can do it here. Well, that came off the screen. I can put up a... where's it at? Maybe I'm in the wrong mode. I think I need to go to studio mode, and I can do transition to live and to edit. And I'll do a little more videos on that later. This is not meant to be an educational video on just Streamlabs, but that's how it is. I don't know how to turn off that mode. No, I want dark. I don't want that. Okay, there we go. So back to there, because looking at two screens at once would give me a headache unless I'm trying to set it all up. So as I go build this out and develop it more, I'll stream that live as I do figure it out. I'm going to try and keep my initial few videos down to 10 to 20 minutes. Preferably around 15, and then as I'm doing my educational labs, I will expand, probably go an hour at first if I can get that long, and then go from there. So that's one of the reasons why I went with Streamlabs OBS. It takes care of this. Plus, between OBS, XSplit, that's XSPLIT, which I'll show you in a minute, and Streamlabs, the CPU utilizations and performance hit to resources was the absolute lowest using Streamlabs OBS. Okay, that's very key right here. As you can see in the bottom corner, right here where the mouse is, I'm around 3%. I have had my height when I'm running a whole bunch of stuff and I was testing things out. I maybe peaked around 8.5 to 8.9% on the CPU. That was with a couple of videos running, several applications running, all that other stuff. What I wish that Streamlabs OBS had, and I did email them about it to find out if it's something they're going to be able to put in, it's relatively easy, is overlay whiteboard scripting meaning I can take a smart pen from my tablet or whatever it might be, or my Surface, and start writing, and it'll let me put on the screen instead of a whiteboard like the one here from that's free from Microsoft. We love these whiteboards, so you know, if you're trying to, oh yeah, I got it. I just installed this one. It's simple and simple, so if I need to diagram something out, I can. But here's the problem. If you're diagramming with a mouse and you're trying to get specific or you're trying to write text, it's not so easy. So I want the ability to use my Surface, which is a writable surface that I can use with my pen, or my tablet that does the same thing. In this day and age, yes, I haven't gotten around to getting a Studio Pro. Once I do, I'll probably use that as my streaming box because it'll have enough horsepower. But, yeah. So that's what I was. I have the labs up there because it's very useful to be able to take notes and toss things up. It's not very efficient to write with a mouse though, so I need to get that sorted out. I posted that on Twitter earlier to the community that I work in, the DFIR, and some other guys, and one of them, Lee, was able to come back and recommend you could use your Surface to do that if you RDP and all this other stuff. So I'm going to explore that route. It worked earlier, a little slow, but I think that's because of how I had to have it set up, because I was on one network going to another network going into the RDP, and I have enough security stuff in place. It's just easier for me to put the Surface on the same lab rail, so it's all segmented off in its own little world, which I'm going to hopefully get set up tomorrow. I just have to wait for the router to get here. Now, going back, because I'm all over the place, I probably need to start learning how to script these so they're more fluid and less all over the place. But I kind of like going off to the cuff too, especially when I start working on things, because I'm going to be all over the place. Anyway, so let's look at what OBS is versus Streamlabs. So this is Streamlabs here that we're looking at on the screen. Let me minimize YouTube Live. We'll actually put that up out of the way on another screen. So hotbar down here. Oh, let me go back to this so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so remind me later, there's apparently an update. So this is OBS 23.02.2. There's an update for it. As you can tell, it's fairly similar in many aspects to OBS Streamlabs OBS. However, when I start streaming, you get to start streaming, you start recording. You can tell it to go to Twitch or anything of that other nature. You can see the same kind of setup here for your sources as we have over here. Fantastic, easy enough to do. But the problem that I had is, again, utilization with the CPU. This isn't even running. There's not a stream running through it. It's not processing any video or anything. And it averages 1.5 to 2%, 1 and 2.5% utilization when I was testing. I had it run for 5 minutes one day, just sitting idly there, and it would go anywhere from 1 to 2%. And when you turn it on, I had it crank up a few times, up to 20+% on me. So it was a little bit slow. But if you go into settings here and you set up your stream, you can select Twitch or any of that other stuff. YouTube Live wasn't really all that great. And so I would mess with custom per the YouTube channel settings, and that was okay. However, it caused some serious video latency or video degradation. So it'd be choppy and clippy and not smooth. I had a problem with it. I played with a lot of the output. As you can see here, I had tried the CBR and I tried setting bitrate to 3500. Right now I'm running 2770 to 2900 on Streamlabs. But I had to hard code it here. It didn't adjust on the fly. It was just something you put in there, and it couldn't do anything else. You know, using the NVIDIA, you had to go manually configure all this stuff. You can do the same thing for your video recording. So at the same time as streaming, you would do a video recording to your desktop. In my case, I recorded equal value 1080p MP4s. Now with the Streamlabs, with OBS, that would make it MKV first. So it would record two videos at the same time, essentially MKV and then a version of it MP4. I could not tell it to separate that out. If it's possible, I don't know. But after several tries, I just got frustrated with it. Stopped telling it to record videos. The audio has never been an issue. You can set it to 40. I've seen a lot of people, they say 44.1 and 48 kilohertz. Most of the new videos in the last 6 months are all indicating go to 48. I couldn't really tell a difference for what we're going to be doing. We're not doing stereo surround sound, video quality demos or anything like that. I set it at 48K, and then all of my channels, I set them to 192-bit for their audio quality. And then looking at here, right here, the audio 192, and that I'm not going to change that one, but it keeps it very clean and less than, you know, so it doesn't break up. Again, you can choose what you want for your audio devices and then go from there. In the video, so here on my main monitor, I am a 4K monitor that runs at fairly decent resolution, and then I wanted my output to be 1920 by 1080, which is 1080p. I tried that, and I also tried 720p. Both videos, as I was testing out OBS, no matter what configuration I went with for my bitrate, as I dropped down to 2400, all the way up, ramped up to 40,000, I couldn't get clear video quality. And if I was showing like my Windows command line box, it wasn't legible. You couldn't read it. So I started taking some problems. I tried to do a whole bunch of stuff in advance. I'm not going to do anything there, but that was OBS. Now, not saying that it's not good, because I can launch this live, do this screen, and it does my gaming monitor, because I'm a dad. I don't go out, I don't drink, I don't need that other stuff, I don't party. My wife works some nights during the week. So when I'm not doing things with the kids and I'm not studying, my leisure, my stress relief is playing games with my friends. Most of my games, and I'm going to make a little side note here for people that don't seem to understand, virtual friends aren't virtual friends. I have made many friends that I consider lifelong friends, that I consider really good friends over the internet. A guy named Adrian Kirk is one of them. The guy is a fantastic friend. We've hung out a few times in real life. We played games together, like when EverQuest first came out years ago, and when World of Warcraft came out. You know, we were buddies. We met all that way. We played for years together online, never met until like I think 10 years later or 15 years later. But we would still give the shirt off of our backs for each other, because that's how good of friends we became. And that's been Merging So. I play a game named Destiny 2 through the Xbox. I met a guy named Coop. His real name, I'm not going to do the real names, Coop and Mayhem. Two different guys. One actually lives here. Of all things, he actually lives here in town with me, about an hour away. Dallas Metroplex is huge, so you could say in the same town, but it's a long drive. Another guy named Mayhem, he lives actually in Texas as well, down by San Antonio. And we all get together every now and then. We've seen each other a couple times, you know. I went to his wedding, and and they've come over here and things like that. So for me, the internet is a huge clump of friendships that I've made. A guy named Aaron from Canada. Okay, we started playing in SWTOR, Star Wars Online kind of thing. You know, I've made friendships, and they're the best. I mean, I made friendships in real life too, and I miss some of those guys because we don't get to hang out as much. But online, I don't have to worry about trying to drive 2 or 3 hours to go see my friends. I can get along. We can hang out, kind of like what we're doing right now. If you're watching this video, we can go shoot things in Destiny 2. We can go on adventures or whatever. Or we can just hang out and chat. There's things you do. Gaming is a stress relief. It's not, you know, if people think that it's too nerdy or something, that's fine. They can go do something else. This is just how I do my relaxing. Getting online. I'm doing cybersecurity stuff, which I freaking absolutely love to death. I started off in networking and computer troubleshooting, and after a divorce, having to rediscover myself, I was given the opportunity to transition from network administration into security, and I have not stopped. Security is a huge field. There's a lot of things to learn, and there's not just one area. You can't master. I'm going to say this. There might be a few people out there that can master every area in security, but there is a ton. If you go check out like the CISSP, a few years ago it was 10 domains. They got it down to 8 domains, but it is 3 miles wide. It's just so much information in there, and that just tells you the general knowledge from a management standpoint. I understand all the realms of security. Does not mean I'm an expert or know how to do every function inside those domains, but it is huge. So as I go through all this stuff, and one of my videos that I plan on doing is my journey into security operations and why you know, is I'm a red team guy, I'm a blue team guy, I'm a forensics guy, because those all vary and everything. But I'm digressing. I'm going away from the core of this video, which is how I decided to go with Streamlabs OBS over OBS and over XSplit. So as you can see here, these are the options. There's a lot of manual configuration in OBS itself to get everything to work. So for me, I was a little disappointed. For gaming, it's perfect. For what I wanted to do, be able to have my screen legible live onto YouTube Live, so people would understand and be able to know, then I needed something else. So we're going to close this. So then, as I was saying, David Cohen turned me on to XSplit Broadcaster. We're going to load that real quick. Hopefully the screen didn't go bad too fast. I don't even know which screen it's going to load on. My problem with XSplit is it did automate some of the stuff. Like it automates just like Streamlabs does. I put my username and password in and some other credential stuff to get into YouTube Live, and it would do that for me. Now, I didn't want to pay for something I wasn't sure about, and there wasn't a real good way for me to test out their upgraded stuff without paying. And their software, I'll say this, based on the testing, the demo stuff I was able to do, I was almost to the point of where I was going to go pay for their software, which is about $200 right now. I think they're doing a 50, well, no, I was looking at it, they had a 50% off, which was so $200 life long thing. Otherwise you can do like $5 a month or $10 a month. I can't remember. We'll find that out here in a minute. But as you can see, yes, I'm using a Logitech HD Pro C920 webcam. I'm replacing that with a 922 because apparently it has smart technology, so I can do a hidden background, kind of like a green screen, without having to have a green screen. And plus, this camera I have now is 4 or 5 years old, so I take care of my computer stuff, but I could probably get something a little faster. Anyways, as you can see, I'm going to take this stream camera off, the lab off, and we'll just focus right now on Streamlabs. And that might be a little busy, and I apologize for that. But it's essentially the same. You can set up your limited microphone stuff and limited audio control and limited camera control. So if I want to set up more advanced features on my mic, I needed to go to tools and settings and audio, and if I wanted to do, I can't remember how I did it, it's been a few days. If I wanted to change it, I needed to see here, it automatically tells me if I want to be able to do more, I'm going to have to upgrade, I'm going to have to pay. Okay, I did not, since this is brand new to me and I don't know how successful I will be at sharing, I don't expect a huge number of followers or anything on YouTube. This is just my way of helping myself learn and anyone else that may be interested if it ever gets out there. So with that said, I was like, okay, this is a turn off for me. And I was able to get it to load just with the basic stuff, but it was still latent. And it still had some of the stuff missing that I really wanted to get through, what I wanted to have automated. This one, at the best quality I was able to get, I had to set my gaming monitor resolution in the application, not the desktop itself, to 1080 by 720, which is 720p, and 30 frames per second, not 60 frames per second, but 30 frames per second, to be able to get close to what I've kind of accomplished now with Streamlabs. That's got everything else built into it, so I don't have to worry about that. And you can add devices here. You can right click. Man, it's been a few days since I've done this, so I've got to add source, your screen capture. You can tell it to do smart selection. You can even do monitor, which is what I've chosen. I've got 3 on this desktop. I've only doing my center monitor. You can tell it specifically what auto detect. If I'm running the game, it'll automatically go to those games. The devices, you can only have, in any of these ones, you can typically only have 1 camera at a time, which is perfectly fine. I think it's Streamlabs. I was reading you could do 2 cameras. I haven't tested it out. I only have 1. I may test it out once I get my new webcam in. But yeah, and then text, if you have a text window, there's little things on there. But again, for all those advanced features, I'd have to subscribe. So we'll come back here and we'll go here and we'll go to audio, and all of a sudden you see, so if you change to this, you have to go look up at their website, and we'll pull that over here so we can have it on screen. And I'm not saying anything bad against them, okay? So right now it's 55% off an XSplit for a lifetime license. That's fantastic. I don't have a problem with that. So as you can see here, the lifetime license right now is $199, $200. I didn't really want to go pay $200 to go find out if this was going to work for me or not. Okay. They have all sorts of stuff out here. I don't know what the V-split cam is. We can look. Remove, replace, blur your background. So this gives you the option to change your background without having to have a green screen per se. The Logitech C922 I believe has the ability to do that. Streaming client, let's see. Yeah, it's $99. It's cheaper on Amazon, but it does let you watch full screen, 30 or 60, broadcast mass for the plus. I think it might be on Amazon, where they were talking about that you could do the blurred background. As you can see here, if you go buy it directly from Logitech, they'll give you 3 months free for premium, and then you're gonna have to go pay for it. Okay, that's a great partnership. I'm fine with that, but I would much rather spend less money than more. I'm, you know, not filthy rich or anything. So, and you could also do monthly or anything, and you can see here the difference between the free and the paid is on free. You get context, you get thumbnails, you get Chrome key, you get a chroma, and then scene transitions and all that, and you could do a watermark. And then you get paid. You get Skype video camera. You get to be able to control your audio sources and local streaming and stream delays. You get simultaneous broadcasting, multiple stream device or services. So that means I could stream technically to both YouTube and to Twitch at the same time. That was not a feature I was after. I don't know that Streamlabs OBS will let me do that. It might. I haven't tried it out, nor do I want to. I only want to go to one source. If this is a requirement for some of you gamers or other people out there who have large followings that want to go to both sources, XSplit might be a better solution for you. I follow a guy named Scott Herman who does a fitness channel, and then he also does Or the Humanity for gaming that he does. He's into huge into Dragon Ball and into fitness and in Dragon Ball and all that other stuff. So when he streams, I believe he streams at the same time live to both Twitch and to YouTube. I know a lot of gamers that are doing that. I'm not interested in that. I want to keep my streams separate. If I'm going to be gaming, I'd prefer to go to Twitch, and if I'm going to do my YouTube, then I'm going to come over there. I'm not somebody that's interested. I mean, it'd be fantastic if I ended up with 1 million followers and made a ton of money every time I posted a video, but that's not what I'm after. I was after something that will let me do educational and learning efficiently and clearly. So that's what I was doing. I didn't, again, want to pay for something I wasn't aware of. Does that mean that, you know, $5 or $8 a month or something wouldn't be bad? In this case, at 3 months, I wouldn't mind getting a trial for 3 months. I would wish they could have gotten that. I think I got a couple weeks, but I prefer just, again, if I'm going to start it out, if I need to pay eventually down the road, if this XSplit would have been something that turned out to be that solution, then I wouldn't have a problem going with it if that's what I knew for a fact would provide me the best solution versus cost ratio. That said, I'm going to go from here, and you can see here there's other things, you know, resolution. You can do unlimited, you know, audio codecs changes from mono and all that. Capture formats, you know, again, you want to talking about definition and rates and everything else. That opens all that much more up if you have the premium services. Okay. I did not, again, want to go with that cost association. So after trying it out for a bit, I decided, okay, I might revisit this, but I was waiting on one more thing, and somebody said, well, if you're using or you're familiar with OBS, why don't you go check out Streamlabs? So I was like, okay. And what turned me on to that was a video that I found on YouTube. Now, this is the other aspect of my chats. One of the things I found a lot of times intriguing about the online educational workshops and stuff people do is waiting on Q&A or response interaction via text chat, whether it be the YouTube chat window or the Twitch chat window. You'd have that delay. You'd be talking about something and you'd have to come over and look at it. You'd have to stop what you're doing, stop looking at the screen context, and actually go look at the text to read it. So I wanted to be able to use my Discord channel for doing just that. So I could have live conversations using headphones and mic so it doesn't bleed over. Now, given I'm using a Yeti Blue mic for this, I don't necessarily need the microphone on this headset anymore because that's just disabled. I can turn that off here. This is a gaming headset that I use. But I could use the headphones to do my chat. The verbal comes out of Discord only to my headsets, not to my desktop speakers. So I wouldn't have the bleed over or the, shall we say, noise reverberation or echoes that might come out of the speakers. So I want to be able to do that. So I was doing some more research and I came across this guy right here, Nick Nimmin, and he did a quick tutorial. He was talking about Streamlabs OBS tutorial. And as soon as I saw it, and you can see I was trying a whole bunch of different things and looking at different articles here, trying to figure out how I could stream. And everything's aimed towards gaming. I don't need to stream for gaming. I've got that figured out. It's click, click, boom, boom, you're done. It really is a walk in the park to be able to go for gaming. It's a sad state that the easiest thing to do on the web is stream what you're doing for your games. But if you want to get interactive with the people that are watching you, or you want to get educational and you want to be able to learn and experiment together and everything else, that's a bit different. Excuse me as I get a drink. So I watched this guy's videos. If you haven't seen him before, go check out Nick Nimmin on YouTube. He does a lot of great video content. I don't know him. I've never interacted with him. But of all the videos I come across out there, they're probably some of the most straightforward, realistic, easy to go video. And he talks about how to get your videos out there, how to get your streaming going, how to get yourself present out there, microphone qualities, video camera qualities, phone versus camera and all that stuff if you're going to go out and about. I'm more stationary with what I'm doing. Possibly when I go to Sands here in the summer, I hope, or any of my training stuff, I'll be able to maybe do some live streams or something, talking with people. I don't know. But anyways, I went and talked to this guy. I went and watched this guy's video here, and he's the one that ultimately turned me on to Streamlabs OBS. So now that's what we have is Streamlabs OBS. And what that does, again, is that lets me set up chat. So I can chat here. I can interact with the YouTube channel. Again, I've got YouTube up over here. I believe that this is, yeah, this is the chat wing, so I can test from the YouTube. And you can see here, let's put them side by side. I have that right here on the screen, my production screen for everything I'm doing, or I can interact with it so I don't have to stay in there. I can hide this stuff. This lets me do what I need to do. Ultimately, when I'm streaming, you won't see this window and you won't see this one. I'll have that off on another monitor that lets me interact and lets me do one more thing. And then I can come over here, and I can launch my command lines. I can do, tracer to www.google.com. And you guys can clearly see what that text is. I can zoom in on it if I want. I'm still working on a better zoom package. The built-in one to Windows when you're streaming, and I'll show you here real quick if I can remember how to do it. which I don't remember. I haven't done it enough, I guess. Essentially just throws everything right there in your face and goes across multiple screens. So it's really not good. And that's because I've got a 4K monitor and I've got two 720p monitors. I really need to replace the two side monitors. But I want to be able to stream this stuff and make it easy and legible, so you can see when I'm working on code. Is it something you guys can see? Do I need to make the font bigger? I'm working on understanding PowerShell and deobfuscation, things like that. I need the audience or myself when I go back and watch my videos, because a lot of times this is me going back as well, trying to understand what I was doing, because if I sleep or if I take, we all get distracted by projects and we start working on something else. I needed to be able to come back and watch these videos to help me remember where I was, what I was doing, what I learned not to do, and what I did learn was successful for the way I take my approach on security. So I needed that to be able to be there. I also decided that this was really not the best solution for a whiteboard when I had stuff up, because all of a sudden I'm going to have to go back and forth and write. So I started exploring what's called Epic Pen. It's 20 bucks. It's free to use for personal, but if you want to use it for education, which would be technically the definition for this channel, it's $20. I might go buy it. However, if I can get my Surface working the way I want it to, along with the Surface Pen, I don't need to go spend the 20 bucks. But essentially what Epic Pen lets you do is it lets you write on top of your desktop or on top of the application. So I could live circle this video, this area, this trace, or I could highlight the address, or I could go find a MAC address. I could do any one of those things, and I could pull that up just fine. So that's perfectly okay. The whiteboard is more cumbersome. So if you have any suggestions about what I can use in place of a whiteboard, by all means, please let me know. I'm going to use my Surface Pro, and this one's a 3. I have a Surface 4 Pro, but I want to set the lab up so it's pretty static, so I don't bring in foreign PCs or anything to. I want it to be very, very, very specific, so I can control the environment as well. The other thing that I liked about the Surface when I did the test earlier, when I was running my virtual machines, it was able to let me write over the top of it with ease. The Epic Pen did as well, but it had caused some difficulties transitioning back and forth from the real desktop to the VM desktop. So I needed to make sure that functionality was okay. So I am still working on finding a true whiteboard solution. But for ease of use and for no cost of money, if you had to ask me what my solution would be for software to go to YouTube Live, it would be Streamlabs OBS, without a doubt, because it's free. It has a lot of the automated functionality, or the functionality from XSplit, for automatically doing walkthrough wizards and stuff, for setting up for setting up your stream between your desktop going to YouTube Live. It's not manual anymore. You just put your username and password in, a couple of authentication pieces, like a key, and all of a sudden you're good to go. You can control your microphone settings. You can control your desktop audio. It's all sorts of stuff. Like my desktop audio is set lower, so if it's below a certain decibel, it doesn't pick up by my microphone. I chose a certain mic, which we could talk about. There's lots of debates out there which mics. For cheap entry mic that does everything you need it to do, you can't beat a Yeti mic, at least not in my book. For $100, I think I was actually picked this one up for $82. It's a decent price. It's got a control on it, so unless you're in front of it, the order cord, it's only going to pick up my voice or what's in front of it, so less chance of the rear mics, which would be playing audio, triggering it, or sounds that might come through the application, depending on what you're testing, things like that. Or if we're going to be testing alerting software, speech software, anything that does trigger audio response or notification. Like if you have, you're setting up, say, a sim to generate an audio alert whenever you have an alert of a critical nature, not just because you're gonna, you don't want all your alerts making audio sounds, but if you have a critical, you definitely want to go know about it. Things like that. So we're gonna be playing around with things like that, and I didn't need that bleeding over into my microphone causing problems. OBS, Streamlabs OBS, and XSplit, if you're playing for the premium, lets you filter that out for the most part, and the microphone that you use does as well. I could have technically gotten away with using the microphone on this headset. However, I streaming, I don't always want to have to wear that or anything else. I can use this headset, my Bluetooth hands-free headset, to go into my Discord channel, so I don't have to wear a bulky earphones. There might be a little more cumbersome or something. And I guarantee here in the next 2 minutes, my kids are going to start running in here. I think they got bored with their game. So I got to wrap this up. So I went with YouTube Live for my educational videos because it's easier to publish, easier to manage, and go through. I also chose Streamlabs OBS because it provides me my most bang for my buck for free and lets me set up other functions I'm still going through. I will go and create a YouTube Live video, how I navigated YouTube Live, figured that all out. I will create, plenty of people have done that. I don't want to recreate the wheel, but I'll just go through it in layman's terms on that one, and I'll go through how I configured my my Streamlabs OBS for everybody that might be interested. And if you have questions, please let me know. Hopefully I'll put the email address in my Twitch in the description of this video. I don't think I've got that set up yet. I had one set up. Okay, you can have it. And I told you, less than 2 minutes, she proved me wrong. She apparently wanted a gummy butterfly. And that means my son's probably going to come and ask if he can have one too. Just wait and see. Okay, so those are where I'm at. I am still looking for an overlay whiteboard. If I can find one that's software driven or that just uses like a regular notepad that plugs into the computer itself for letting me do writing and everything else, I could potentially go with that instead of using my Surface. If I can say single platform, that's fantastic. If not, I'm okay using my Surface as that solution. I would prefer not to have to spend more money. If for something happens and this channel grows really, really big, then I will probably expand, but I don't see that happening. Again, this is an educational channel, mainly meant for me to bounce my ideas off, work through my frustrations, and give me video documentation of where I was, how I got to where I was, so I can learn from successes and from failures. And if people want to participate with me along the way as I have my follies, my hiccups, my bundles, my obstacles, and just good old fun, then that's a win, because that helps me learn, that helps them learn, and I figure why not share that. I've now gone on for 48 minutes. I thought this was only going to be a 15 to 20 minute video. This just goes to show I can ramble on like no freaking tomorrow. I may need to start scripting. That'll be the next learning experience, is scripting versus just talking. Anyways, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to turn this off right now. To sum up again, Streamlabs OBS, YouTube Live, and I'm running on Windows 10 for my base platform. And it does let me handle 3 or 4, 6. I've had 6 monitors on it at one time. So you can handle multiple monitors. I don't know. I haven't tried Streamlabs OBS for multiple stream platforms. I'm sure it would work though. I just need to figure out how to do it. So if you have questions on it, if the video quality looks good and you think that's great, please let me up. If you need any questions or help trying to set it up, I'd be more than happy to help where I can. I am not a certified expert. I'm not a representative for YouTube. I'm not a rep for Streamlabs or any of that other stuff. I'm just a guy that's trying to learn and share how I learn along the way. Anyways, hope everybody has a fantastic day and the rest of your evening, and I will talk to you all later.